Hey guys, welcome to the second lecture, and we stopped on the third step here. In this lecture we will write the PHP code from the server side, and I'm gonna use Atom for Atom text editor for this tutorial. You can also search on Google for Atom and download it. I would recommend it, but if you have another editor, use yours. So Atom editor download, and then the website is atom.io, and then from this website you can download. It's a very powerful editor. Okay, another thing I wanted to say is to go to your, go to console.developers.google.com, and here from this drop down menu from the left side on the top bar, there's a drop down menu, choose your project. In our case, if you followed my steps, it should be GA-API1, and then click on this enable APIs and services button, and then on the search box type in analytics, and then click on Google Analytics reporting API, and then from here if your API is not enabled, click on enable. If it is enabled, then just don't do anything. This is just in case your API is not enabled. Okay, you can close this tab, and then we stop at the third step here. We will be using most of the code from here, and then we're gonna write some other PHP code to integrate it with WordPress. So here we see that we'll load the Google API PHP client library. This is the library we installed using Composer. So if we go to our example htdocs, plugins, GA API, we see this vendor here. Here we have the Google library, and then we assign to analytics stuff. This function here initialize analytics. Here we have the files location. This is the file with the secret key, this one, the one we pasted from our download folder. And then we create and configure a new client object, which is I'm just gonna copy a part of this code from here. So I said I will use Atom. Just gonna open it right now. I'm going to File, Add Project Folder. So navigate to your folder wherever you install XAMPP, and then htdocs, WordPress content, plugins, and then just one click on your GA API here. Select folder, and then here we have the project. We should create a new file in this folder. So right click on your plugins folder, new file, and then I'm gonna name it ga.php, and then here we should write a PHP comment. This PHP comment is needed for WordPress to know that this is the main file of our plugin. So we'll have just open the PHP tag, and here we will have a PHP comment, and we have here the plugin name, and let's name in GA dashboard, and then there is the plugin URI, and that's HTTPS. I'm gonna put my website here. Okay, and then we also have, there should be description. You can just leave Google Analytics, and then we have offer, and then offer URI. You can put the same website if you want. And then we have the version 1.0. I think that's it for now. I'm just gonna save this file like that, and then go on your local host You should be logged in into your website, and then go to your dashboard, and then here go to install plugins, and here you should have this GA dashboard plugin. By the way, I deleted everything I had in my plugins folder. Like for example, you go to htdocs, WordPress content, go to plugins. I removed everything I had here except my plugins folder and then the index.php. This one should stay here. If you want, you can remove. If you don't want, don't remove. But I just remove them so I can have just these plugins under our installed plugins tab here on the dashboard. So we should activate this plugin. Click activate here. Okay, it's active now. Let's go back to our PHP file here, and now let's go ahead and copy some of the stuff from here. I'm just gonna copy this one, PHP library. So here, wherever we have dir, we should delete and use the WordPress predefined function, which is plugin dir path, and then as a parameter we will have file here, and then we just leave it like that. And then below here we will need the initialize analytics function, this function from here. Let's copy it, paste it here. So what this function does is it calls it. Okay, we get the library here, and then we have the location of our file from here, the key one. So let's go ahead and rename this one to key, and of course we should replace this dir with the plugin dir path file as a parameter here. And then here we create and configure a new client object. You see client, assign a new object which is Google client to our client variable, and then we set the application name here. We set the auth config file, which is this one. So you use this variable from here. And then the scopes, we want to read only the data. And then here we assign a new object which is Google Service Analytics Reporting. And then we assign all this new object with these attributes. We see it has a parameter which is the parameter is client, and then we assign all the stuff to our analytics variable, and then we just return it after that. And then the next function we will need from there is gonna be the get report function, and we will play around this one. We will change a little bit this function, but let's copy it from now. Copy it from here, and we're gonna paste it below. So we have get report analytics as a parameter, which is it means this data, but below I will show you below the relationship or the dependency between these functions. So here we should add two more parameters, which is gonna be start date and end date. Okay, now here replace with view ID. You need your properties ID. If you don't know what's your properties ID, click on Account Explorer, open link in a new tab here on the third step. You can find it here. And then from this page, you should be, of course, logged in into your Google account. And then from here, choose your account. In my case, this is my website. And here below, you can see the view ID. Copy it from here and paste it right here, this way. Okay, now below here, create the date range object. So we assign the Google Service Analytics Reporting date range object to the date range variable, and then here, as according to Google's example, we want to get the data from today, like from 7 days ago until today. But we will remove this one from here, and we will paste our variable, which is start date, and then end date, because we want to get the data for the latest 6 months. And then below we will have another function which will call this function 6 times with different dates. That's why we want these parameters here. And then here, this is the create a matrix object. This is the kind of data. Right now, on this example, Google shows us how to get just the sessions, but we want to add um, three more kinds of data. We want to add users, average page load time, and organic searches. So let's copy this one. I'm just gonna paste it 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. And if we go on our page here, on wherever we have this example, on the left side you will have a link which is Dimensions and Metrics Explorer. Open this one in a new tab, and here is all the data you can access through this Google Analytics API. So we want sessions we already have. We want the user. Under the user, we want to get all the users. So click on this one. And here it tells us what you use. Use GA. I'm gonna use it this way. So on the second one, wherever we have here sessions, put users. Okay, for the set alias we put just users, and then we will change this sessions variable to users. Paste it everywhere. So these 3 lines should be assigned to the, we assign this object to the users variable, and then using the users object we get all this data. And then the third one is going to be the organic searches. So if we go back to our matrix, we should have traffic source. Under traffic source should be organic searches. Click on the organic searches and copy the metric from here like this. And we're gonna replace this one with organic searches, this one like that, and the variable is gonna be organic searches. We'll call it the same way. And then after that we want to get the average page load time. So if we go back, we should have what is that, site speed, and then here average page, where is it? Average page load time here. So let's copy this one like that. I'm gonna paste it here on the last one like that, and I'm gonna name this variables the same way. Okay, now here below we create the report request object. So here we assign a new object. We assign the report request object to the request variable, and then there's the view ID. We assign the view ID to this request, so we know for what property we want to get the data. And then set date ranges. Date ranges are here, and then this is session only. It was session before, but right now here we will have an array. It's gonna be sessions, and we will also have, oh wait a second. Okay, it was already an array here. I didn't pay attention. I'm sorry guys, it's already late. And okay, sessions here, and we want to add users. Okay, sessions, users, and then organic searches, and then we will have the why did I copy this one? We need to have there the average page load time, this one here. I'm sorry guys about that. So here we should have the average page load time. See, they have a bunch of stuff. You can use anything you want from there, but I'm just trying to make it as it was in the demo. So average page load time here, and that's what we should paste here as well. Okay, now below here we get report request. We make the request using all these attributes from here, and then after that we just return the report. So we have this get report function done. Now we will need a function, and we will name it get latest data. We won't copy it from here. What is the example? We won't get this function from here. We will write another PHP function which will get the data. We'll call this function get report 6 times with different dates, and then after that we will return the data. So here we have function get latest data, and as a parameter we will have, let's see, we will need a parameter here. Let's put for now data. Okay, and now here we will have another variable which is analytics, and we will assign to this analytics the initialize analytics function. This is the one. Initialize. Initialize analytics. There is no parameter for this one, so we call this function first and assign the result to our analytics variable. This function is the first one, this one from here. Let's go back, and then here we will have an I variable which is gonna be 0. This is gonna be the month number, if we can call like that, because we will have 6. So we have E0, and then we have 4, and then we will have a J variable here which is gonna be 6, and then J needs to be, as long as J is higher than or bigger than 0, then we want to do J minus minus. That's how we get the latest 6 months from now. And then we have start date, and we assign to start date the date, the date PHP date function here, and then we want to get it in this format, year, month, and then using the str to time, str to time. Here we will get the start date. This is going to be the first day of the month, so it's going to be 6 months, and this we assign here the first day of each month. So we will have like that, and then should be J. I think I should put this way. Okay, and now here we'll concatenate, and we'll say 1, 0, 1. Let's say 0, 1. Okay. Start date. So get the date, year, month, start your time. Okay, looks good. We will use this. We will use this D. We assign to this this variable D. It's gonna be used for our last day of the month. So we should have a variable, and we assign to this variable a new object which is date time. You'll understand in a second. Date time, and we get the start date here, and then we have the end date variable and we assign the end date variable using the D object in the following format. We have here year, month, and date. Okay, and now here we should have a variable. So we've got the start date, which is the first day of the month, and then that's how we find out what's the last day of the month. Here in this way, we assign the date time of the first day of the month, and then here using this format we get last day of the month. And then here we should have we will have another variable which is response. But before we get all this stuff from here, let's see if everything works fine. So let's comment out this one from here. I'm gonna copy this stuff from here like that, and then here we will have result, and we will assign to result the get report, and we had there 3 parameters. So the first one is going to be analytics, and then start date. Let's say, where is it? Get reports. So we have analytics, start date, and end date. So analytics is the initialize analytics, where we have scopes and ID and all the stuff. And then here we have, let's say, 1805. This is the May, and then 01 start date, and then the end date 2018 05/31. Start date, end date. And then after that, let's just print the result. Okay, let's just save it like that. Let's go back to our WordPress, go onto your home page, and here you should have, so it doesn't show up on this one. Let me see if you open any post you have there, you'll see this is the data that comes from Google Analytics. But if you press Ctrl U, you'll see it like more clear, because right now it's like in a messy way. But on the source code, Chrome arranges it really well here. So you can see this is Google Service object we get from the API. We get here reports, and then there's another array here. This is the types of data we want to get: sessions, users, organic searches, average page load time. And then below here, this is the data for each of these kind of data. So 0, 1, 2, 3. The 0 is sessions, users, you see 292 sessions, 228 users, 93 was the organic searches, and then 0.0, this is the average page load time, which I don't have it. If you remember on the demo, I didn't have it anything for May, maybe because I know my website was down, or don't remember what happened that month, but I remember there was a month I didn't have any result for that. What we can do, we can change here, let's say May, June 7. Let's see for July, save it like that. Go back and refresh this one. And you see right now I have an average page load time. Okay guys, so until now everything works good. Let's just delete this stuff from here. Let's uncomment this function. So we had analytics, this 4 right here, and we got the start date, end date, and then right now we should call, so we will have a response object, and using the J is for each month, which means we will create another array with all these 6 months. So we will get report. So we'll have analytics, and then start date, and then end date, and then here we will have I++, and we will have another variable which is output, and output I. So this is another array we create um, for each month, because if I would leave J here, this is gonna be reverse. All the order of the months is gonna be reversed. So I have output by I here, and then I assign a new empty object, which is default PHP std class. This is a PHP default object. If I would leave it empty, if I wouldn't assign this one, I would get an error. I get an error whenever I don't assign this stuff here. And then we have output, I, and then here we will have start date, but this is not a variable, it's a method, and we assign. So right now we create another array. We get the data from Google Analytics, and we assign it to another array. And then having another array, we assign all this data for each month here, and then we will be using this array to create our WordPress REST API. So we have here start date, which is equal to the start date variable, and then we have another one which is end date, and here it's end date, and then we will have another one which is sessions, and then we will have another one which is users, and then the last one should be the average. Oh no, so we have sessions, users, and then what was their average page load time. Average page load time, that, and then organic searches. Organic searches. Okay, but here it's a little tricky one, because all this data comes in an object. So this is a huge object. We should go through all this stuff. So here we should check response, and then there's reports. We should go to the reports. And then 0 here, and then we need to go to data, which is here, and then just pull all the data from here. So we should follow all these steps. So here, wherever we have the session, it needs to be response, and J, and then we will have reports, and then 0, and then we will have here data, and then rows, and then should be 0 again, if I'm not mistaken here, rows, and then 0 again. Okay, and then next one should be matrix, and then 0, and then values, and then should be 0. So let me check. So 0 matrix, 0 values, and then this is the values here. Okay, now we should do the same thing for users. Just let's copy this stuff from here and paste it instead users, and here we want to get the number 1 here, because the number 0 is the sessions, and then users, and then average page load time. Average page load time is the third one. This is gonna be number 3, and this one is gonna be number 2. Okay, and then after this we should just return the output. Let's say we go back. If we refresh this page, we should, so we get output error 79. 79. Oh, I didn't respond. I forgot about that. So we don't get any errors on the website, which means everything is good. We didn't call yet these functions, but we're gonna call them now. Let's remove this printer from here. So here we want to create a let's create the API right now. So create REST API. Hey, okay. So here we should add. We'll have should write add action. This is a WordPress predefined function, and then here the first parameter is gonna be, first parameter should be REST API init. REST. This is by default. This is a WordPress parameter, and then we have a function here which doesn't have any parameters, but here we have a register REST route, which is another WordPress predefined function. Route, and then here it's gonna have few parameters. So the first one, let's say GA/version1. This is required in this way, and then we will have another one which is gonna be analytics data. This data, and then we will have an array here, and this array is gonna have the method. So methods, oops. So we will be able to call this API using the through the get method, and then here the callback. On the callback, this is the function that's gonna be called by this API. So it's gonna get latest data. Okay. So this way, like that. Okay, so let's save this file, and now let's see if this API works. So we should have like GA. So this one should be like WordPress JSON. So it should be WordPress JSON by default, and then GA version1, then analytics data. Press enter. Let's see, and we see it works. So I have an extension here which is JSON formatter. This one is for formatting this JSON data. If I don't have it, if I remove it from here, this data is gonna be, you know, showing on the page like messy, everything in 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 lines. That's why you can also install the JSON formatter extension in your Chrome or whatever browser you have. So let's go back a little bit here, and then now we have this API which is working. We can use this API. We can create a React app, and we will call this API from our React app, and we will output the data, and after that we will create a shortcode, and we will output the data on the page using that shortcut. So that's it for this lecture, guys. It's kind of a long lecture, but it's very important. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will do my best to help you out. Thank you very much and see you in the next lecture.